Better sensitivity in dealing with mental illness is the pressing need of the hour today, and hence we felt that this video addressing all is a must. With all the kind of discourse that is going around with mental illnesses and different words being thrown across like frisbees, psychiatrists today say trust science over sunshine. Let me walk you through some bitter truths today about mental illness in this country and how much we clam up. Why so clandestine? We all need to unmute ourselves. We need to end the stigma. What is the bitter truth of the country today? Here it is. 1 in every 8 Indians is dealing today with a mental health disorder. The suicide rate in India is 16.4 per 100,000 women in this country. It is double when it comes to males in this country. The World Health Organization has released some startling figures. You must take a look at these statistics. It will shock you. Suicide is one of the highest killers across the world, not just in the country. Talking about mental illness and depression loosely is not okay. There are certain celebrities, there are certain influencers who come and talk about how this person does not look depressed, or this person was not depressed, or this one did look depressed. It's not okay. Leave it to a psychiatrist or a mental health care practitioner to decide what you really suffer from. Approximately 800,000 people die of suicide globally every year. That is the painful truth. 1 person every 40 seconds dies by suicide globally according to the World Health Organization. That is the painful truth. Suicide is one of the top 3 killers globally. That is the bitter truth. And according to psychiatrists, untreated depression is one of the biggest causes of suicides everywhere in the world. Today there is stigma attached to this. What we need to come together as society is to end this stigma. The way to end this stigma is to have literate discussions around mental health. Leave your mental illness to a mental health care practitioner and follow what they are saying. Cognitive behavioral therapy alongside medication as your psychiatrist prescribe is important to cure any mental illness that you're facing. Your brain is like any other part of the body. When your kidney does not function, you go to a doctor. When your leg starts aching, you go to a doctor. When you get a flu, you go to a doctor. When your stomach is acting up, you go to a doctor. When your heart is acting up, you go to a cardiologist. So when your brain is acting up, listen to it and go to a psychiatrist or any other mental health care practitioner. It can feel unwell. What we want to say today is, it is okay to not feel okay. Speak up, unmute yourself, develop the right kind of support system. There are ample amount of suicide prevention helpline available in the country. Call them up. Don't clam up just because there is a lot of sensation around suicide and depression in this country. Don't clam up. Also remember, there is always a rise in copycat suicide. Whenever there is sensationalism that is brought forth in the media when it comes to a certain suicide, copycat suicides are known to increase. It is our job and responsibility to stop sensationalizing this. Place science over sunshine. Psychiatrists across the country are placing a clarion call to end this stigma, to speak about science, to speak about facts, to speak about the bitter truths and speak about them openly, so that the many sufferers that we see in society today end up finding altruism in society. They end up finding the right kind of support they require in society as well. Let me also throw some light on confidentiality. There is something called as doctor-patient confidentiality. When you go to a doctor and discuss your mental illness or the way you're feeling, be rest assured, there is a code of ethics that every doctor, every psychiatrist, every therapist, every psychologist will follow. Your illnesses will not be discussed amidst anybody. Anybody means anybody at all. So feel assured and feel reassured about this. Confidentiality is a very important part of any mental health care practitioner's practice. So do not feel scared. Unmute yourself. There needs to be a certain level of scientific scrutiny done, and science should from here on decide the discourse rather than sensationalism, as I have been pointing out earlier as well. 36% of Indians are likely to suffer from depression at some point or the other in their lives. If you feel that you are showing signs of depression, do not decide for yourself. Go to a mental health care practitioner and let him or her decide for you. Understand the difference between the Werther effect and the Papageno effect. And the Papageno effect is something that all of us need to know. And here is Dr. Sameer Parekh explaining what the Papageno effect really is.
The Werther syndrome to the Papageno's effect. Two angles, two spectrums. Sorrows of the Young Werther, famous book, where this protagonist dies of suicide, results into copycat suicide, a phenomena known as copycat suicide, where the narrative, which means the social media narrative, can influence people into repeating the act of suicide. To Papageno, character from Magic Flute, Mozart, where Papageno feels like ending life, and his friends show him all the good things in the world, show him a purpose to live. And that narrative prevents Papageno from committing suicide. I think it's high time that we understand, given the fact that Suicide Prevention Day is not very far away.
So empower yourself, shatter all these myths. Let's speak about mental health openly. Let's speak about mental illnesses openly. Let's ensure there is enough amount of altruism so that the sufferers do not have to suffer alone. You are not alone. The entire society is with you. Unmute yourself and let's all remember, mental health matters. It does.